Music is not something that you hear, it's something you feel. See, and if you don't feel it, you can't know it. See, it is a spiritual music with spiritual ingredients for spiritual purposes.
And that is a quote by Peter Tosh. And this quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie-Fari, the beautiful life-changing message of reggae music. It was created for social change, and its message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. So welcome to another episode of Hippie-Fari Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Omen Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in the beautiful Ocala National Forest in Florida. And I am your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie. And Hippie-Fari is that place where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music is your thing, you're in the right place. So tonight's guest, is a cultural organizer, selector, and movement builder based in Oakland, California, using reggae not just as music, but as a tool for healing, unity, and social justice. He is a creative force behind Reggae Cultural Movement, a cultural project rooted in roots and international reggae, blending live events, community collaborations, and digital storytelling to highlight reggae's global reach and living relevance. Now, from pop-up park gatherings and community cleanups to cannabis lounge experiences and holistic wellness conversations, this work brings reggae into real spaces with real people grounded in culture, consciousness, and purpose. Now, at its core, this movement treats reggae as what it always has been, movement music, carrying messages of liberation, black consciousness, justice, and collective healing across generations and across the world. Now, our guest is inspired by Bob Marley, and global reggae culture spans continents and African spiritual traditions. This work connects music with Ital living, herbal wisdom, mental and spiritual wellness, and conscious community building. Now, this isn't about trends or spectacle. It's about culture in action. It's about igniting a roots reggae resistance, one dance, one story, one community at a time. Family, please welcome DJ Hatari to the show. And let me continue to say, the second I came across you, literally everything I found out about what you're doing is so friggin' close. It's in line with everything that we're doing here at Hippie-Fari. So I'm so excited to have you on the show. Welcome, DJ Hatari. How you doing, man?
I'm well. Excellent. It's good to be here with everyone. Good to be here with your community here at Hippie-Fari.
Thank you so much, my friend. Well, it's now our community. Absolutely, man.
Yes, it is.
100%. I'm so excited to get into these questions, man. So let's go ahead and do it. I kind of want to start with your personal journey. When did reggae stop becoming something that you listened to, and it started becoming something that you lived?
When I was a young child, I had one of my parents was West Indian, so I had a West Indian household I was raised in.
Okay.
And that meant that I was blessed to be able to participate in listening to their reggae records that they listened to quite frequently in the house. And at first, the music was quite different from the community that I was socializing in at the time. And so I remember being slightly embarrassed by that as a youth. But then, when you grow up and then,
Sure.
And especially at the point where I was in my life, where I looked at hip hop as something that was the cool music at the time. And,
Sure.
And then when reggae legends started being implemented into hip hop music,
Like Buju Banton and all that?
exactly, it really became resonated with me at the time, and because it was something that I was that my spirit was familiar with. So
Sure.
So then, at that point, that's when I started making the decision as a young man that that's a music that I really gravitated to.
Yes.
And that impacted me in a way where I am where I am now, and most of my life was spent listening to that music. So I guess for most of my adult life, reggae music has been an important part of it.
That's a beautiful thing, and I always tell people I didn't pick reggae. Reggae picked me, man. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it's revolutionary spirit. Social change. It it was a part of my life before I was even born. That's a beautiful thing. So, how did growing up and organizing in Oakland shape your understanding of reggae as a culture and as a movement?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I think when you grow up listening to reggae music, right? Social justice is a real key component of the
Amen.
music, right? You know, and you express it in different ways, like revolution,
Yes.
right, or conflict that overcomes strong obstacles, right? And then when you encounter those same conflicts in your life, right, on a personal level or a professional level, you're inspired to confront this situation, this confrontation with music that arms your spirit, you know, that prepares your spirit for battle, right, to take
Yes.
place, and for you to do the right thing. And so to that point, I am a professional organizer. I've been a community organizer for many years, and I'm a union organizer.
Oh,
So
that's great.
right, so when I'm working with the community or planning actions or events, uh, on a personal level, it's something that enriched and refueled my spirit to be able to continue to do the work that needs to be done that helps people's lives. So I think everyone who listens to reggae music, they have an occupation that they do, right? That's really something that's really helpful to people, or that saves lives, or that helps people, right?
That's right.
And certainly that music is something that fuels their spirit to be able to continue to do that work.
That's a beautiful thing, and I love the fact you're a union organizer. I'm very pro-union. Yeah,
Yeah.
my politics are very pro-union. I don't want to get into my politics, but yeah, it's very union oriented and very people first, people over profit, people over
Right.
corporations. You know what I'm saying? 100%. So that's amazing, man. So why was it important for you to build reggae culture and movement as a cultural project rather than a DJ brand? Because I know you're a selecta, and a lot of people's egos are going to be like, I'm going to build everything around me being a DJ. You know what I'm saying? But you chose to make it about the people and not yourself. Why was that?
Well, um, I think that when people start DJing, right,
Yeah.
they I mean, if they're being true to themselves as human beings, right, when you are filtering the art of DJing, right,
Sure.
it's what's in you. You're expressing what you are as a DJ,
Amen.
and so uh, organizing and bringing people together in a collective way is a part uh, of DJing, right? In a
Sure.
sense, and so naturally, I'm going to apply those skills that I learned in my work up until this point, right? To my time as a selector, right?
That's
Because
great.
at the end of the day, it's just spinning music. Reggae music, as you know, is music of the people,
That's it.
right? And it's music of the people for a reason, and it's not just because it motivates people to dance, right? But it's because it brings people together in a collective way, and it prepares them to fight for themselves, to fight for what's right, right, and to fight for justice, or uh, to bring themselves together to overcome obstacles that are detrimental to them, right? So that applies today, right? So
Yes.
that's and I guess I came to DJing because I am an organizer, right? As a union organizer, what brought me into this realm right now is I wanted to motivate my workers when we were getting ready for a strike, right, or getting ready to renegotiate a contract
Sure.
uh, with your healthcare workers, right, that I was organizing,
Okay. Beautiful.
and so at this point, um, a lot of my colleagues would have their union music mixes,
Okay.
right? So
Nice.
they and you know what I mean, right? We are the union, and a
100%.
lot of unions that are very old, right? And so one thing that I wanted to do as an organizer is I wanted to relate more to the workforce that I was dealing with, and try to find out the music that would really motivate them to come together. And so I experimented instead of using old Union songs. I was experimenting with different forms of music, right? In a way where when we would have meetings or when we would have activities that brought people together, right, and for a length of time, I would experiment with different sound frequencies, right, that I would be able to observe, would be able to bring people together or split them apart or distract them, right?
Right.
And and what I found was that happy medium was reggae music, right? Specifically reggae music that was in different languages, right?
Yes.
And so I was experimenting with that, and I was like, okay, this frequency right here, this formula of music is a really good frequency that empowers people, brings them together, and marks that experience that they have in a way that they'll always, refer back to it in a positive way and a empowering way.
Right.
So that's what. So from there, I started just trying to step into the question of why, right? And doing research and experimenting with that in different social situations and social gatherings, right? And events, parties.
Right.
And then, just looking at it and saying, there's another story to reggae music, aside from just the music itself. It's an actual culture that
Yes, absolutely.
can help people and change lives.
Absolutely, man. And that's a really beautiful thing. And I love the way that you put that. Reggae music is not just it's not just a music, it is a culture, and it brings people together. And one of the main reasons, like I said, that reggae, chose me, ever since I was young, I've been a part of, direct action groups that were either for the environment or, for social justice. I was a member of Greenpeace when I was 11 years old. You know what I mean? That's an environmental group. But
Right.
revolution and fighting an oppressive system has always been a part of my nature. And that's why I say reggae chose me, because it's just my nature. It's how I was born, to be able to see injustice and not just sit back and let it happen, to talk about it, to bring it to people's attention. And if whatever people do with it is up to them, but it's, at least I feel like it's my responsibility to at least tell people, kind of bring it to light, take away that apathy of people. And, there's a lot of people that, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. And I'm like, that's so sad, because let me tell you something. Even though you don't think it affects you, it does affect you, because injustice is happening in other countries and around the world directly affect you. Because, trust me, all the powers that be, they all work together. They all take notes from other ones. And if a powerful regime is holding the people down and oppressing them for their benefit, trust me, other regimes are going to do the same thing if they see it working. But if they see people standing up and fighting back, they might be like, oh, well, you know what? These people might have something up their sleeve. You know what I mean? We might be a little careful. But, we have, reggae music is a weapon. It's a freaking weapon. Don't let them take that weapon. You know what I'm saying? And you know how to use it. When you're building a house, you have a hammer. You have to use it properly to build a house. Well, guess what? Reggae music is a weapon. Yeah, or it's a tool that can use to build, and when used properly, it's an absolutely beautiful tool, man. So, my question for you is, why is bringing reggae into physical spaces like parks, cleanups, and lounges so important right now?
That's a good question, Scotty. I think there's so much. First of all, there's a lot of issues that the people are suffering from right now. And,
Sure.
And I think when you're in a space like that, there's the fighters, the people who are spiritually, whose reaction to that is to want to do something about it, right? They're going to seek each other out, and there's going to be opportunities to organize in this situation.
Sure.
And so that's what I'm noticing, right? That people are seeking opportunities to address the issues that they're facing right now.
Yeah.
And so there's organizing groups and organizations and institutions that are out there, community organizations that are trying to organize their communities to push back, right, and to empower them. And so I, so what we're trying to do at Reggae Cultural Movement is make ourselves a resource to those movements and to those,
Yes.
to that organizing, right? But and at the same time tell the story of the power of reggae music and how it can just not just the lyrical content of it, right, but the
Yeah.
frequency of the music itself can be used to help really promote resistance
Yes.
to issues that people are fighting, and not only that, but bringing people together in a collective way that bonds people, right,
Right.
and and there's something about the rhythm of the music that Bob Marley said was the heartbeat of the people, right?
Yes.
And it
Amen.
sinks people's heart in motion to something that they're doing in a collective way
Hmm.
that impacts their life, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we want to make ourselves available to people who are having those different types of meetings and and coming together with people in a way that empowers them, right?
Yeah.
That's why we want to make ourselves available and tell the story, right, of reggae music connecting with these people and what their issue is, so that we can all empower each other, right, in a way that the music bonds people together in.
That's a beautiful thing, empowering each other. I mean, we have to.
Right.
I actually got in a conversation with somebody on Facebook the other day, and he was like, if I can't take care, because I basically said in a comment, taking care of others and being in service of others to me is the most important thing you could do in the world. And he said, well, if I can't take care of myself, how can I take care of others? And I said, in taking care of others, you are taking care of yourself. Because when
Right.
you're
Right.
empowering other people, you're empowering yourself because you have people around you that are now realizing that it's okay to stand up and speak out and to resist oppression and, and to live a comfortable life, without, having to worry about anything. And, it's a
Right.
beautiful thing. Devoting your life to others and empowering other people is such a beautiful thing because there's no ego involved, and it does help you tremendously. So, what's one thing that you think people misunderstand most about reggae culture today in this modern era? When people hear reggae, what do you think they misunderstand about? Because a lot of people don't know reggae. Like they hear it on a cruise ship. You know what I mean? When they're going to when they're taking their
Right.
cruise to Jamaica, they'll hear the steel drum reggae
Right.
band, and that's what they think.
Right.
That's all they know about it. So, what do you think the number one misunderstanding about reggae music is today?
I think, well, the number one misunderstanding about reggae music today is how widespread and powerful it is in worldwide today,
Yeah.
right? I think when people think of reggae music, they think automatically of Jamaica
Sure.
and the music that's coming in and out of Jamaica.
Mhm.
And then there's a faint understanding of some music here or some music there kind of happening, right?
Right.
But and so I think the misunderstanding is when reggae music was first. I mean, Bob Marley's first couple of tours, he went around the world and he really was like in a prophetic way, right?
Oh, sure.
Tapping into the spirit of people who were victims of colonization,
Sure.
and he made a powerful impact, right? The frequency, the sound frequency of his music made an impact that reverberated and and motivated people to chase that frequency, right? And in their own way, and it's developed all this time. So what's happened is reggae is actually something that's being practiced for generations around the world, right? In African countries, in Europe, in many Asian countries, the Pacific Island countries, all of up and down Latin America, right? You have Canada and people here, so it's just something that's been worldwide that has definitely subcultures within all of these groups around the world that for the most part people really that have been developed through their own languages and their own instruments
Sure.
and the spirit of the collective people in that community, but with the same basic frequency, right? So it's all unique, but the familiar power of reggae music, right? So it's something that it's artistically developed in its own different way, and I think it's something that we should all, have the opportunity to experience or be curious about, right? So that's where we're at right now.
Absolutely, man. I firmly agree. And speaking of that, I kind of want to do a mid-show music break. I have selected a track by an artist named Mystical Power. And the track is Come Together and Reason. And I think that really ties into everything we're talking about, because you're a community organizer. It's about coming together and reasoning and talking and, sharing ideas, based around, the beautiful, powerful message of reggae music. And I like to select tracks on my show. I actually have, talking about being a selector, I have a series called the Selecta Scotty Sessions, where I go on and I play tracks and I talk about them. But I try to select tracks that most people haven't heard, artists that they might not have heard of. It's a beautiful thing, but the message is it's always a conscious message, always. Because I am a firm believer in, if you take gospel music and you take away the spiritual lyrics, well, it's not gospel music anymore. So to me, reggae without conscious lyrics, I don't know. I mean, it's hard. Reggae was meant for revolution. It's meant for social change. And it's hard if you replace the conscious lyrics with, hey, let's go out and party and all that kind of stuff. To me, it's still got the reggae vibe. But is it truly heart and soul reggae? I don't know. That's a good question. But to me, it's about conscious reggae. So I really think you're going to like this. It's called Come Together and Reason by Mystical Power. Check this out.
Okay.
And understanding, come together and reasoning make us strong. Come together and reason how to fight down the wrong. Come together and reasoning make us strong. Come together and reason how to fight down the wrong. The young and the old step into the light and come out of the cold. Reasoning, let the story be told. All are welcome into the fold. Reasoning in that community. Let your voice set your mind free. Reasoning, talk is the key. Must talk till we all agree. Talk is the key. Come together and reasoning make us strong. Come together and reason how we fight down the wrong. Gather together now, people, for dark is landing. Wisdom, experience, knowledge and understanding. Reasoning with the meek and the bold. Wisdom and love worth more than gold. Reasoning can't be bought to soul. Word, sound and power we have to uphold. Reasoning what people see. In life there's no guarantee. Reasoning, so gather with me. Let us deal with reality. Say,
Come Together and Reason, Mystical Power. That's POWA. And I heard a little cracks at the beginning. If it kind of messed up, I'll edit it out. But I love that song. Word, sound, and power. Come together and reason, young and old. Bring people together to talk about issues, talk about what's going on in their community, and using the beautiful music of reggae to unite people and bring people together. It's such a beautiful thing. And for those of people that aren't familiar, most reggae is either in the one-drop drum beat or the rockers drum beat. That was in the steppers drum beat, which means the bass hits every time the hi-hat hits. So and you hear that boom, 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 boom. And I love that. Exodus by Bob Marley was actually in that steppers beat. It's a beautiful thing. It's not the most common drum beat, but it definitely drives that power. You know what I mean? And it brings it home. And just it's beautiful. It's real good to dance to. You're a selector. I know you like to get people out on the dance floor. So that's a beautiful thing. I like to do. I like to throw a little bit of music in there. And could you go ahead and tell us real quick? I listened to a couple of your mixtapes. Absolutely phenomenal. Where can we find your music? Because I love it, especially that reggae, that African reggae is amazing.
Right. We're putting out on the so we have Mixcloud. We have a Mixcloud account, right? So it's Reggae Cultural Movement and Mixcloud. You can go to our website, reggaeculturalmovement.com.
Beautiful.
And you can just go to the we have a community section where we have an international section. We kind of regionally we want to just display reggae, a culture that expresses itself in different regions of the world, and so and just make a platform for that and give people an opportunity to experience it, just and just give them an opportunity to connect with people around the world, and maybe the music resonates with some people, like you may listen to some Asian music. In Indonesia, reggae is very popular in Indonesia.
It's huge. I have a lot of listeners in Indonesia. I was amazed when I got my analytics back. I was like, look at that, man. I'm popular in Indonesia, which is fine with me.
Why? They have incredible music that comes from Indonesia. This reggae music, and they're doing it in the right way in their culture. So
sure.
I want to experience that with them. I want to listen to that and experience reggae in that way, right?
That's great.
As well as the way that from the people from Jamaica that's there. So it's just giving different perspectives from it, and in that way just connecting with each other around the world, right? And when we're trying to overcome our obstacles and our issues in our communities and right now. So so that's what it's all about. Just giving people an opportunity to experience it in different ways outside of the norm right now. And I know that we have dance hall and other forms of Caribbean music that's really popular in the dance.
Soca.
That we on the when I'm doing clubs or when I'm doing parties or when the objective is to make sure that people are on the floor dancing, right? We make sure that we do that, right? And in any way possible, particularly with our Caribbean mixes, right?
Yeah.
So we're true to that, but at the same time, reggae music isn't just about the music, right? It's a culture behind it.
That's right.
And so to that end, it's not just about international music, right? I mean, if you look at the holistic component of reggae, right? They were the first ones who were talking about a naturopathic lifestyle,
living,
right? With ITEL, and it was embedded within the music, right? At a time where this wasn't even something that was, it was just beyond the realm of the imagination of Western world, right? And so now, those principles are part of life, right? That a lot of people are following, and so. Just if you're doing that, reggae music does resonate with that type of lifestyle, right? In a spiritual way. And so that story needs to be told, right? And so we need to express the holistic nature of reggae and how that is a part of the institutions that are taking place now that are available for people, right? So, for instance, like a holistic lifestyle, that's a part of medical treatment. That's an alternative form of medical treatment. Well, you know, we want to tell the story of reggae music connecting with those institutions and see how we can come together when they have events that are happening, right? Or when they're trying to connect with the community, then
Sure.
we're participating with those events, right? And providing the background music for that.
That's beautiful, man. That's and speaking of that, this is definitely kind of an interesting question for me. What, in your personal opinion, what responsibility comes with selecting, sharing, and curating reggae music in today's world? Because you want people to hear the right stuff.
That is a good question, right? I mean, you know, what can you say? Because I mean, you look at the charts, right? You see, you know, albums that have been there that it came out many years ago, right?
Right.
And you know there's so much more music around the world that it's reggae music that I mean, I don't know if those voices are being heard or if people have an opportunity to compete on charts in a reggae level, right?
Right.
Or and then at the same time, the reggae artists that are coming from Jamaica have an opportunity to increase their audience, right? Outside of just Jamaica, for
Sure.
people who are hungry for hearing that roots music coming from Jamaica, they want to hear the new stuff as well, right?
Yep.
And if you streamline those audiences, right, it could support the roots artists that may not have the audience in a local scene, right, that the dance hall artists have,
Yeah.
right. It's just
Yeah.
something that we should open up our the market in a global way for reggae music, right. So I think that's something that we could look forward to, and if that's going to happen, then we should facilitate it in a positive way.
Sure. 100%, man. And on to this one too, because I know you're a selector. So, in your opinion, how do selectors and media platforms help protect reggae's integrity, but also allow it to evolve? Because I know that's kind of a hard thing to do. You know, it's like it's got its basics,
I
it's got
think
its core, but
well, in many ways, DJs are like organizers, right?
sure.
When you're playing music on the floor, you're going to go with what moves people's energy, right?
That's it.
To a climatic episode, right?
Sure.
And you know, we all have our ways of getting there. You know, you start on a certain level, right? And you get an opportunity to indulge themselves socially, right? Get a
Hmm.
couple of drinks,
Yeah.
right? Build up the
Yeah.
energy, and then we all have our build up, right,
Yep.
to the music, and then we have our songs that we expect to take the energy over the top to make sure that everybody has a good time. And so they're going to experiment with the songs that are going to follow that storyline, right? If you're the DJ, so um, you know what's moving the audience, right?
Yep.
And dance, and so to that end, I know in the Bay Area, there's you know, reggae music with a lot of different forms of Afro beats, right?
Hmm.
Is
Hmm.
something that is definitely um, introducing new audiences to reggae music, right? And people who have their own form of music, and again, right? You take reggae music, the basic backdrop of reggae music, and you intertwine it in another cultural music or area, and it, boom, you have something
Right.
right
Yes.
that can be used right in a positive way that is a parent of reggae, just like reggaeton and everything. You know, there's so much, right?
Yes.
Um, so just that backdrop of reggae, right? That backdrop of that powerful reggae frequency that's intertwined with different forms of cultural music. It works, right? So that's what's taking place here in the Bay Area, and I think one thing we want to do at Reggae Cultural Movement um, is tell the story of the other ways with which reggae music and reggae culture is happening in different areas of America, right?
Sure.
So, like what's going on down there, like in Florida, right? What's going on with the reggae scene in Florida, right? Like,
Right.
are they doing mixing different types of reggae music with different forms of cultural music, or are they or are they staying, just roots? I mean, what would you say would be the reggae scene down in Florida, right? Down there, I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, it definitely depends on what part of Florida you're in, but there is a lot, and I mean a lot of your surf style reggae. You know what I mean? A lot of the, kind of like the Cali roots
Right.
styles coming out of California.
That
There's a
roots,
lot of that
right,
here.
right,
It blends a little
right,
bit. It's like the roots rock reggae. It blends a little bit of rock. It's still got that roots
right,
chink chink chug, but
right,
a lot of it, quite honestly, is party music. They're not really singing about, it, the conscious lyrics aren't as heavy as I'd like them to be. But now you
right,
say, for example, you go to Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach, the VB reggae scene is absolutely phenomenal. They have, they have a mix, a lot of different cultures there that represent reggae music, and it's a lot more conscious there. But in Florida, it's big, but it's Florida, so it definitely
right,
has that
right,
party feel, that surf rock kind of
right.
feel, that vibe.
That is Florida culture,
It
right?
has that.
It
It has
is,
that Cali root sound. You know what I mean? A lot of it.
right,
So, it's fun music. There's a lot of bands that are doing really, really, really well, and we get a lot of fantastic artists that actually come through Florida. Pretty much every artist who's on tour hits Florida.
right,
So
right,
that's a beautiful thing. We have the opportunity to see a lot. Well, I mean, you're in Oakland. You have the same thing. You get a lot of
right.
definitely a lot of artists coming through there, and then the Cali roots
Yes.
sound. I mean, it's huge. It's
Yeah,
absolutely massive.
yeah,
That's what all the reggae rise up, and all the big festivals are pretty much showcases is that sound. But the one thing I do like about the Cali roots sound is it's Cali and its roots. The sound is still the roots reggae sound, which I really like. And another funny thing, I used to always say, man, like reggaeton, it should be called dance hall tone, don't you think? Because it's more of that dance hall beat than it is a reggae vibe. I mean, am I right or wrong? Huh?
I think when it comes from, right, it's because in Panama they had reggae en español,
Sure.
right, and so the backdrop of reggaeton was that reggae en español from Panama, and so that's why I think. But yeah, you're right. It's a dancehall beat, but I think
Right.
it's they were talking about, right, that reggae en español with the dancehall, right,
Sure.
in Spanish is what made that. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, I just think if you're looking at it from an artistic perspective, is just so many different directions to go, and like the Cali scene, right? It's
Yeah.
there's some aspects because I have an affection for the Cali roots scene because
Mhm.
I was a fan of Sublime
Oh
when
yeah.
they were out, right? And so I look at these bands as like a reiteration of Sublime, right?
Exactly.
And
Completely.
so I look at it different from other people, right? I look at it as the development of that branch of reggae music that was Sublime, that was like,
Sure.
taking elements of California at that time, which was like rock and hip hop, right,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
dancehall, and then making it their own unique mix. Um, and so they didn't have the time to really or the opportunity to explore that particular mix in their own way. But what happened was all these bands were the result of that, right? So
Correct. Yes.
so I'm looking at it from that lens, right? But other people look at it from from a different perspective, and they look at it like what it's not like roots reggae, right?
Right.
And it's just a different form of pop reggae, right?
Sure.
Which is like dancehall is kind of a form of now pop reggae, right? It's
Yeah.
so you have your different forms of pop reggae that are reiterated, and so the purists like I have a friend who's a pure reggae purist, and I
Yeah.
and I played him a mix we had of our because we have an Australian Pacific Islander reggae mix, right?
Nice.
And I played him some of that mix, right? And most of the people I know really like it, but he's a purist, right? And he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, that sounds watered down."
Now I gotta listen. I gotta hear it.
And I'm like, okay, I know why you said that, but it's just can't be for reggae purists, right? It's
Right.
like like what reggae culture moves are people who are just like they don't care, they just like reggae music,
Yes.
right? And some are
Amen.
purists, and most people just like it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's an opportunity to indulge in the culture of it, right? And to and to learn, and we want to try to be a resource for that and tell the story of it, right? So,
I
but
love
at the
that.
same time, we want to honor the roots reggae, but also just put in a platform that the different forms of expression of reggae around the world,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And like I said, one of my favorites, I mean, all-time favorites. I'm actually flying to Virginia Beach to lay down some of the tracks. Project we started, me and the founder of a reggae band called Cultivated Mind. It's called I Sound Infantry, and it is pretty much the steppers reggae. Well, over in the UK, they have that UK steppers, which is like the sound systems. It's real heavy, four to the floor steppers music with the sub bass, very militant, politically militant, and very spiritual lyrics. I love that, and I had a guy tell me the other day, that's not reggae. I was like, it certainly is. It's a genre within reggae, but it is. It's reggae music.
There will always be people. There are people who just feel like if it's not from Jamaica, it ain't reggae, and they're entitled to believe that. Right?
Well, sure. I mean, yeah, but
but I think, there are a lot of people who would be at least mildly curious to hear different forms of it. Right?
yeah, amen.
And be able to make their own decision if they want to, if they like it. Right?
Yeah,
And
I
some
agree.
people,
Yep, and I think, I guarantee you the people who. Anybody who has been in the reggae scene for a long time, especially over in Jamaica, a lot of them are kind of blown away that from this tiny island, there it is still there are worldwide people are coming up with their own forms of reggae music. You know what I mean? That's amazing. Like to me that is huge. That is huge, man. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing to me that not that it's stuck, but that it's still an extremely incredible power in music and in lifestyle and just everything. It's amazing.
Well, that's why we try to approach it from a cultural study standpoint, right? And,
Right.
And you just start examining those different elements of reggae music. Like
Sure.
The holistic health and
Yeah.
the international key component of it, and there's the cannabis element of it, of course.
Oh, yeah.
right?
That's what a lot of people think when they think reggae. Oh.
That's their first go-to,
Yeah.
right?
When I
But-
asked you that
but
question
there's-
earlier, when I said what's a lot of like misunderstanding with reggae, a lot of people don't know like, oh, it's weed music. I'm like, what? No, it's not. I mean, it's so. I mean,
It's an
people sing
element.
about it, but it's.
Well, no. We listen. I think we should embrace that, right? Because look, it's legalized in Florida, right, and it's
Oh,
legalized
yeah.
in California. So,
Mhm.
so we see the commercial element of it. We see dispensaries all over the place, right? And
Right.
and reggae music did that. That led that movement
certainly did.
for that to happen.
Legalized.
And-
Peter Tosh.
and-
Come on,
and
man.
so-
You know what I mean?
So claim that victory, right?
Yeah,
This
yes.
is something that reggae music did. It was immoral. The laws and the way life was, right, when it was
100%.
illegal. And so that was something that touched people's spirit, right,
Yep.
and it resonated with people, and it caused the world to change in a positive way, and I think it should be applauded and celebrated.
I totally agree, and so does every single pothead that's like, I don't have to worry about going to prison now. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Well, yeah, we remember those days when that was you risked the going to jail and changing your life forever.
Oh,
just
I'm
from-
old enough where, when I first started driving, I was like, oh, geez. You know?
Right. I used to pull over and say,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Of course. What do I smell? Not cigarettes, man. Come on. That's so
See,
funny,
we
man.
owe them a debt of gratitude for looking at it in a more moralistic, holistic way.
Certainly.
In a moral way, right?
Absolutely. Well, speaking of that, what international reggae scene inspires you the most right now, outside of the United States?
That is a tough question because there's so
It
much
is.
incredible music popping off all over the world. I mean, you look at what's going on, like and everywhere in Africa, it's an incredible reggae scene that's happening. I mean, there's got incredible music coming out of Senegal,
Right.
incredible music coming out of Uganda, reggae music coming out of Uganda, incredible reggae music coming out of Kenya. Nigeria has been putting out incredible reggae music for generations. in Ghana, they believe they're the best African
Right.
nation that to produce reggae music. Uh, I mean, one of the countries that has incredible reggae music is Zimbabwe, right?
Beautiful.
Mozambique, Tanzania. Uh, it's
Right.
it's all over the place. Cote d'Ivoire, right? They got it up in Algeria and
And those are great
Morocco.
places for reggae music because there is a lot of oppression. There is a lot of struggle. And that,
And they have their own traditional instruments and languages with which they express the reggae music,
that's great.
and so it's all different, but it's all the element of reggae music expressed in their way.
That
And
is
it's incredible
fantastic.
music, and I found I don't need to understand the words to their music because I feel that frequency
Amen.
and the power of it, right?
Amen.
And so
Yes.
it's just a good way to experience reggae music in a different way, right? So I mean, I believe if you're a reggae purist, why not participate and experience it in different ways, right? So that's what we're here for.
Certainly,
You know,
100%. And yeah,
people and to to just grow that curiosity and see if we can come together and create a movement.
absolutely. And that's what it's all about. It didn't just stop. It's still going. Yeah, and yeah,
Right,
like you said, different cultures
right.
are adopting it, and they're,
Yeah,
you know, and that's the beautiful thing about reggae music. They're taking their cultures and applying it to it because reggae music is the opposite of oppression, and I think
right,
it's meant to do that and have that impact, and that's the beautiful thing about it, and still carry that message, that message of freedom. And that's a message
right.
of, opposing injustice. That's such a beautiful thing. So, now, how does that global perspective shape how you curate music and events through reggae cultural movement?
That's a good question. I remember, I remember when I was, I remember when I was first put in organizing for organizing campaigns, right? Union campaigns when I was specifically experimenting with reggae music,
Sure.
and um, the first thing I was doing was I was playing random reggae hit songs, right?
Okay.
And it was an event, and I remember I wasn't filtering it right.
Right.
Some inappropriate songs came on, and I remember I had to run and change the music, right? And I was like, okay, I need to put together mixes that are
That's funny.
appropriate for
Yeah.
the daytime, right?
Yeah.
Because I was mixing, popular reggae songs with songs that were like more conscious, right? So
Sure.
I had to
Yeah.
learn that, right? And so then I had to come up with different mixes that work in the daytime, right? That work when the goal is not to make people dance, but to bring people together and to spiritually ground that experience,
Sure.
right? In a positive way. So so that's when I found out, okay, um, I had a very diverse workforce, right, that I was dealing with, healthcare workers,
Okay.
right? So
Yep.
you had workers of all different types. And so I found that if I played reggae mixes with Spanish lyrics, right, Spanish
Yeah.
vocals, that was the sweet spot in terms of,
Yep.
because I found that like a lot of Asian workers, right, the Filipino workers, for they really loved the reggae rhythm and the Spanish, so they
Sure.
started, dancing, and then the black workers, right, who were either immigrants or African Americans, they like that
Oh yeah.
resonated with them, right, because it wasn't, it was something that's natural, right, and then because of Spanish lyrics and reggae rhythms, all the Latino workers loved it, right, so
Right.
it just brought everybody together. And I didn't have to worry about offensive lyrics, right,
Right. Right.
because most people didn't understand it, so it
Yeah.
just all worked out, right.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So this is a good element to work with when bringing a diverse workforce together. When it's not, the goal is not to make people dance, but to just bring people together, right?
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I mean, there's just um, so yeah. So I mean, up and down the movement chart, reggae music can get people going, right, and move your
Certainly.
spirit, and whether it's dancing or getting things together or working together as people, as a people.
Absolutely, man. So here's a beautiful one. What can the United States reggae culture learn from the international reggae communities? I know there's quite a lot.
Well, I think here's the thing. I don't think very many people know about one another, right? I think everybody knows about Jamaica.
Sure. Well, yeah,
We all know
absolutely.
what was going on in Jamaica. But I mean, if you look at it like Paris is the place where most of the reggae music is being consumed in Europe, and you're like, why is that? But then all the African nations that go through Paris is why, and they're creating incredible reggae music out
Right.
there, right? And I don't understand French, but I have some of my favorite international reggae artists are French, reggae artists,
I
right, from
love French
Africa,
reggae, man.
right?
I
So it's
absolutely
like, I'm like, wait, so you know what I'm talking about,
do.
right? I
Huge
don't, do you
over in
know French?
France,
I
man.
don't
Like,
know French.
yeah, one of my favorite bands, Groundation. Whenever they tour, they're always in France, man. There's a huge reggae scene over
Right,
there. It's huge. Yeah.
right. It's just like, listen, I mean, we should not, let's all come together, right?
Yep.
And just, it's different stories. It's about shows, it's about the music, but it's also about the culture,
Sure.
right? And if we have subcultures around, that are international, then it makes sense if we can connect with one another, right? And just start giving people an opportunity to experience each other's reggae, and maybe we can start promoting it and making and making the best reggae possible as we all come together,
That's
right?
right. That's why I love what you do. You have like the Asian reggae, the African reggae. You showcase it all, and that's a beautiful thing because a lot of people they don't really get the chance to hear it, or they don't even really know what's out there. A lot of
Right,
folks sometimes, especially when it comes to music, unless it's put right in front of their face, they don't seek it out. They'll listen to the same playlist for 5 years. It's like find something new. You know what I mean? Because while they're
right,
sitting on that stuff, there's beautiful stuff being made. Even if you like the old '70s roots reggae sound like I do, there's still new current stuff that's
right.
adopting and adapting that sound and has that sound still. So that's an absolutely beautiful thing, and that's what I love about it. And I'm always going on the rabbit hole with reggae music, man. God, there's so much that I learned. I've forgotten a ton of it. It's nonstop with me. Um,
Right.
but as we've been talking through this conversation, and obviously through your group, you definitely connect reggae to a holistic lifestyle, the Ital living, the herbal wisdom, and spirituality. Do
Right.
you mind telling us a little bit about how those elements work for you?
Um, yeah, I think that's why um, I'm able to relate to those different elements because I'm able to experience it,
Sure.
right? Like for instance, like there's a spirituality as an element of reggae music,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And I know that my parents were Muslim,
Okay.
and I was raised in an Islamic household,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
And so um, And so when I began to spiritually connect with reggae music, and I was listening to it, you know that the most of the practitioners and singers of reggae music had their own spiritual practice,
Yes.
and it wasn't mine, but I was still able to spiritually connect with that music, and I just filled that void of what I consider to be God, right, or
Yes.
my spiritual power, right,
Yep.
and I was able to experience my spirituality through reggae music with that frequency, right.
Amen.
Um, so I think um, that's something that needs to be explored, right? There's a lot of Christians who enjoy and listen to reggae music
A
and,
lot.
and spiritually spiritual, and they have a very strong gospel reggae scene,
Oh yeah.
right? Coming out of you heard it,
Yep.
right?
That like the Christ-Fari and all that stuff. Yeah. Yep.
Exactly. It's definitely Christian music that's reggae, right? And it's like gospel. It's like gospel reggae,
Yes.
and there's incredible lyricists who are coming from there, there is spiritual power in their gospel reggae, right?
Yes.
But it just drives home the point that the reggae music there's a spiritual element there
Very much so.
that's a story, right?
Yes.
And I think if you look at their spiritual practice, there's elements of Christianity, there's elements of African spiritual traditions,
Sure.
right? and there's elements of Hinduism, right?
You know, and that's what I was gonna say. I'm a practicing Hindu, and there's a
Right,
lot of reggae music that actually puts like the Om Namah Shivaya, Om Kali Om
right,
chants over the reggae music, and it's absolutely beautiful. You know.
right, right. So it's a synchronicity
Yes,
of different elements of spiritual thought,
that's
right,
right.
and practice. So,
And they
um,
all
right,
fit into it's they all beautifully bind with Rastafari so much. It's a beautiful
right,
thing, man.
right,
Yes,
right. And that story needs to be
it
told,
does.
right? That is
You're right.
a vital element of reggae music that separates itself from different forms of music, and then there's it's so outside of like the weed, there's a holistic
Right.
aspect, there's a spiritual aspect, there's a social change aspect, right? There's
Sure.
social change is an element that you have to. It's a fundamental power of that music is the need to change your situation,
Yeah,
right,
that's
and the
right.
need to change to address justice, right? And so those stories, I think it needs to be told, and it needs to be connected with one another. And so what we're doing at Reggae Cultural Movement is reaching out to those different practices and institutions that resonate with those elements, and seeking collaborations with them, right?
Sure.
To provide for different events. So for instance, we if you're with a holistic place or a dispensary or something, we would offer our services, right, to be able to support, different projects, and come together, right, and tell that story, and provide, music and experiences, and we can start telling that story in a way that this it's a collaboration, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So. Uh,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I mean, and so there's so many different ways to really express those stories in terms of reggae culture, but it starts with the music. It starts and ends with the music, right? And giving people an opportunity to experience it. So that's what we're here for, and so I would definitely want to continue to network with you to connect with different reggae institutions and reggae artists down there in Florida to be able to tell their stories, right? Maybe I can get some interviews from the folks down in Florida and to talk about reggae culture in Florida,
Certainly
right?
can. You can interview me anytime. That'd be great, man. I
We
love
can put
that.
something together. Let's that's what we want to do is tell that story across North America and across the
Yes.
world, right?
Amen.
The reggae culture, and put it out there. So let's connect after this for sure.
Oh no, we certainly are going to. Like I said, what you're doing is very in line with what I'm doing, and I think what you're doing needs to be here. I love that, and I think that this platform, the podcasting and things like that, having you on, having people that work with you on, using it as a platform to be able to tell that story and to spread that message, and also build a community and make it that much bigger. But there's definitely folks here in Florida that would love to talk to you and talk about Florida reggae culture. Absolutely, 100%. So, in your opinion, and basically in a time of burnout and mental health challenges, and there's a lot of them. I mean, I think 90% of somebody's on like some sort of antidepressant or something,
Right.
But how do you see reggae functioning as medicine for people?
I think not only can it be a direct, it addresses it directly, right? Because it comes directly to your spirit, and it gives you the spiritual power to be able to, spiritual fuel to be able to keep going at
I
it, right?
like that spiritual fuel, man. I'm adopting that. That's
but
beautiful.
at the same time, what we want to do is like give people an opportunity to take control of their health, right? And
That's
that's
right.
what reggae music was saying, that to respect the earth, and to really look more to the earth to solve our holistic problems,
Sure.
our health problems, our
Sure.
mental health problems, right? And so consumption of herbs and what we eat and what we put into our body
Yeah.
is a vital element of reggae culture. And
That's
so
right.
like if you're I think if you're doing that as a business, right, providing herbs or providing a practice, right, that addresses holistic needs. I
Yeah.
think that we're people who we want to connect with you, right, and tell that story, um, and help enrich, events that you may have, or network, right,
Mhm.
where people, because if you like reggae music, then you definitely want to, have access to those people who are providing those services or those products,
That's
right,
right.
and so. Um, just kind of build ourselves up as a network, and give ourselves an opportunity um, to really experience and grow the culture in a real organic way, but that makes people aware in an international way, right?
Sure. 100%. So you are building partnerships around wellness and healing.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Like we have, for instance, there's here in Oakland, right? There's a healthcare institution that's supposed to provide services for, specifically for it's getting federally funded for a certain community,
Okay.
and we want to highlight that because most people don't know,
Right.
right? And so we have an opportunity to work with a group of people who are organizing in the medical care community to be able to provide events that bring awareness to those issues, right? And
Nice.
then gives those institutions an opportunity to, to produce, healthcare screenings and sign-ins of people who would otherwise not have access to those services,
100%.
right? And we know that that's a part of reggae culture because it's a part of taking control of our healthcare, right, in our communities, and being aware of those institutions. So and telling that story, right? So that's the project we're working on right now. We have we're at the end of the month in December. We're connecting with an African artist, right? PY, and she's a Zimbabwean artist, and she does African music, African reggae. And she's gonna give a live performance. I'm gonna
Oh,
give an
nice.
international reggae. So we're gonna connect with a live DJ set, like global reggae pop up at a venue, right? It's going to be here in Oakland, California.
That's
So
great.
it's coming on the 28th. So it's a way for us to connect with internet, with global music and global reggae music to
Hmm.
produce live and DJ sets, right? And to
Right.
kind of start. So we're launching that, in a couple of weeks, and we're gonna start doing that regularly, right? So making sure we connect with the music and with the culture, and telling that story and giving people an opportunity to produce, new art, and just come together, right? And find out what's going on out there, and then hopefully we could just um, reignite the reggae scene, right? The reggae music scene by,
Sure.
connecting because if we're all reggae music consumers, we should all, the reggae music should be the number one music genre,
That's right.
right?
Amen.
So how do we streamline our love for reggae music so that, it's reflected in the genre, right? And it's able to really support our artists, right?
Sure.
Because there's you want to make sure that your legends that are out there, still out there, like touring and trying to support themselves, that they have they have access to their market, right? And we're able to take care of them. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now, right? We have to make sure that we continue to develop do our role with developing the genre, but making sure we pay the honor and respect of what's going on down there in Jamaica, right? So
That's right. 100%. This is something I see, having chapters in different states. You know what I mean? Like Reggae Cultural Movement, Florida, Reggae Cultural Movement, Ohio. You know what I mean? It definitely has that undertone. This could be something that could grow, and you could have different chapters, all over the United and internationally. I think it's a beautiful thing. I love the concept, man. So basically, when someone encounters Reggae Cultural Movement for the first time, what do you hope they feel?
well, I hope that they feel like they're connected to that they're in a well, sometimes reggae music is not the music of choice for most people, in most people's peer groups, right? And
Right.
so around the world, it's a subgenre,
Sure.
right? Most people, have a hierarchy of music they listen to. There's the United States pop scene, right? And then there's that particular country's pop scene,
Right.
right? And then it's the traditional music in that country, right? And then there's different tribal music in that country. So sometimes reggae music is like a subculture group, right?
Right. Sure.
So when you're able to connect with people who are able to resonate with that particular frequency, right?
Right.
Even though it's a different language or culture, right? It's a powerful experience. You can connect on that level, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
that's what we want to do with the reggae. That's what we have in mind for reggae cultural movement
Sure.
is streamlining the international reggae scene, right? So that that those scenes continue to grow and thrive, but they're just connected to one another, right? And
Yeah.
and able to experience one another, right? And I think if we're able to do that in a real and powerful way, reggae music can be the international voice of the people.
Amen. That's exactly what I say. It's the last bastion of the people's army, man. It is still. It's something that the world can unite around, and it's funny that you mentioned that it's usually, a subgenre. It's not, at the top of most people's list, but I thought about this the other day. I was like, what style of music has been blended the most with other styles of music? And I'm like, reggae, even country. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
I mean, it's everywhere. It's in everything. So, it's mind blowing to me that it's not, just the most popular music in the world. But yeah, I think people that don't listen to reggae are crazy, but that's just me. So, how can listeners move from being just spectators of reggae culture to active participants in this movement?
Go to Reggae Cultural Movement. Sign up to our newsletter. We will begin to reach out to people and
Beautiful.
start discussing. I know that, like, for instance, in Denver, there's some brothers out there. There's some groups out there. They formed their own group, the Denver Reggae Movement, right? And
Yeah.
so they, so we have, so they have different coalitions. I believe they're called the Denver Reggae Coalition. So I mean, it's expressed in different areas of the country. We just
Yes.
don't know about them, right?
Right.
Like we know Hawaii. I know. I mean, everybody knows out here in California, like Santa Cruz is down the way. And Santa Cruz is a reggae town.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right? So, they have a radio stations and everything, and so so it's expressed in different ways around the country. And so I know, for instance, that reggae music is definitely intertwined with different Native American nations that are well, I know for sure the Hopi Nation, because there is a story there, right, that I'm writing an article about with people who I connected with in the Hopi Nation who talked about the connection of reggae music to the Hopi Nation and out there in Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona reggae is amazing, man. And Rastafari is one of my favorite
right.
groups out of Arizona.
Right,
I love it,
exactly.
yeah.
They have a
ZC Keeley, he's Arizona. So yeah, it's amazing.
right. And then New York has their own scene, of course.
Yes.
But then you go to you go to different parts of the country,
Yeah.
and we don't. I mean, it would be interesting if we could all connect here in the country, right, about what's the North American reggae scene.
Sure.
Like it's out there, right? It's just disconnected in a sense, right?
Sure.
So, some people are doing it the Cali Roots way,
Mm-hmm.
and other people are doing it the Roots way, and other people are doing it, they're doing it the Lovers Rock way,
Sure.
right? And other
Yeah.
people are trying to do it.
Sure.
And then you got the Hawaii style, right?
Yes,
And those boys are doing their thing out there, right?
Absolutely.
So, it's let's tell those stories, right? And get to know one another and give everybody an opportunity to experience each other in that way. I know that there is, I mean, and there always will be, people who feel like if reggae music is coming from different cultures or different places, it's not really reggae music, and that's fine, right? There will always be those people, but this is strictly for people like me. I'm a nerd for culture, right? I like to study different people's cultures.
Amen.
And study people's cultures through their music, right? And so for people who are curious and want to learn about different people aspects of cultures. It's a wonderful way to experience that through reggae music of different communities, right, in different countries.
That's
So
great, man.
I just think it's I mean, if it resonates with your spirit, if the music resonates with your spirit, um, then it deserves a place in your life, right?
That's right. And I think what you just said hits the nail on the head. You like to explore other people's culture through their music. Music pretty much defines culture, in my opinion. Whenever you were a kid, you were in high school. Everybody hung out with the people that listened to the same kind of music they
Right,
did. You had the
right.
metalheads, you
You
had the
had to.
alternative kids, you had the punks, you know what I mean? You had the rig, so
Yeah, yeah.
music pretty much it kind of defines your life. It almost becomes your lifestyle. If you think about it, reggae, you can look at me and tell that guy listens to reggae music. You know what I mean? Because it's my lifestyle, and it is who I am. And I think that's a great way to study people's culture by looking at the music. You can hear everything about their culture through their music, and that's and
Right,
food. But
right,
yes,
right.
100%. So, and speaking of culture, in closing, if reggae is a living culture, what does it need from us right now to continue growing in the right direction?
I mean, I think it starts and ends with Jamaica.
Sure.
Uh, and so what, what we need to do is make sure we're available to do what Jamaica needs us to do, but at the
Sure.
same time continue to produce music in an organic way.
Hmm.
Everybody's the way keep doing what you're doing, across the world and creating your music and connecting with your communities through the frequency of reggae music, right? And making sure we follow the lead of Jamaica, right? Because they're going to continue to come out with the purest,
Certainly.
and they will always have artists that represent that art in that purest way. And so, let's keep it moving, but at the same time, make sure that we connect with one another. And if we do that, I think there's no way that the genre cannot help but become like a worldwide voice for the
Amen.
people.
That's a beautiful thing. Such amazing words. DJ Hatari, tell us everything about everything. Where can we find you? How can we get involved? What can we do? Give us websites, give us phone numbers, give us all that good stuff, man. Social media.
Well, okay, we have a website. It's reggaeculturalmovement.com,
Okay.
and then we're definitely on social media. We have a Facebook profile, and
Yep.
we also have an Instagram profile. We're growing, but definitely social media is a part of one of our elements. We want to make sure that we are participating in, and
Sure.
through our music, right? We definitely give sets, or if you connect with us, we'll talk to you about connecting with your events or parties or shows or whatever, right? We could definitely arrange that.
Okay.
Uh, and then our website, we're going to continue to produce articles, right, around different aspects of the culture of reggae.
Beautiful.
And we're also going to try to connect with different people in our communities that are a reflection of reggae culture, whether it's holistic or fashion, right, or through spirituality, or through social justice, or through cannabis, or whatever. We want to connect with you,
Sure.
and collaborate in creative ways, right? So that we can begin to tell the story of the culture of reggae, as well as be available for producing events, right, that deal with the music of reggae music. That's what we could definitely collaborate with everyone on.
That's fantastic. And last thing for you, how many people are in your organization, and what was it? Did you just like hit up your friend and say, "I want to start doing this," and that's how it worked, or was it a kind of a group
I have
effort?
there's a core group of people, and then there's loose people around the place,
Got you. That's
right?
cool. No,
So
I
it's
feel
like,
you.
you know what I
Same
mean?
with me. It's just me and my wife do the podcast, but I got people who
See,
help me.
you got a crew.
Yeah,
There's a tight crew,
yeah.
right? And okay, but then we have different pockets of support around different places, and we're just pulling everybody together. And as we move forward, we're getting the means to be able to just grow, right? And that's where we are right now. But things are headed in a direction immediate. I mean, it's one of those things like when you're planning a campaign, you make sure you lay the foundation down, right?
Of course.
So that when you're ready to move forward in an unapologetic way, which is what we are now,
That's right.
then we're ready to move forward. So that's why we're talking right now, right? Because it took a while for us to do the work to be able to launch the campaign of just making people aware of what's happening out there in terms of reggae culture, and then trying to be a platform for people to experience it in a positive way.
Yep.
You know?
And that's a beautiful thing. And I saw you came across on my social media. I saw what you did. I liked what you did. And now I got you on the show. It's a beautiful thing. And I got you to talk about it. So let me say, reggae is more than something we play. It's something we practice. Much love and
Right.
respect to DJ Hatari and the work of Reggae Cultural Movement. Thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
All right. Thank you, Scotty.
definitely
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Definitely. Sorry, all right, people.
Absolutely. And I will definitely say that there is strength in unity. So build your community. Follow me on
Definitely,
TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Shoot me an email, hippiefarirareggae@gmail.com, and check out my website, www.hippieFari.com. It's HIPPIEFARI. And this is Scotty the High-Strung Hippie and Kira the Irie Empress reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. And do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner. Smoke out a stranger. Slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do it from the heart, because all good things start with the heart. Peace, love, and Rasta rhythms, they are all a part of that reggae revolution.
All
One
right
love,
now,
man.
people. One love.